So when I first met Stephanie Krayer, it was when she and Nicolas, who are now both running our Geronimo Center in Uruguay, the key point team out at San Geronimo, the retreat center. When I first met her, I was amazed at this incredibly sharp-minded woman who was just finishing up her master's thesis on the relationship of justification by grace through faith to ecclesiology. Sharp mind, an amazingly strong determination and passion and will to see Christ's kingdom really grow and take place all around her. And then this tender heart. I remember thinking, if I was ever caught in a dark alley in a street fight, I would want this woman on my side and not on the opposite side. She has this deep passion for spiritual formation and for community strengthening and church restoration. So little did I know at the time when I met her that that she and Nicolas would marry and that our friendship would deepen, that their own spiritual formation ministry would start to get off the ground, that they would begin to use San Geronimo even more than we were at the time, and that eventually they would offer to come on board to form a team together, and that eventually they would actually move out there and become the center hosts as well as the program directors. So absolutely amazed. And so one of our core focuses in our church planting efforts is to help leaders and their teams develop a set of practices that they carry out on a near daily basis with family members, with a spouse or a significant other, or with another member of the team, of really getting quiet with each other before God and doing what we call a check-in. You know, check-in is just where I take a moment and kind of do an internal scan of what's going on in my heart. Where is my heart? Proverbs says, guard your heart, for from it flow the well springs of life. And so there are times when our hearts are sad, there are times when our hearts are excited, there are times when our hearts are burdened, troubled. And we found that if we can show up with people before we start to meet and just do a quick check-in, how is your heart? In 2-3 minutes max. Let me know what's going on the inside. And I don't need to fix you. I don't need to save you. I don't need to change you. And it's a practice that Tony and I have incorporated into our marriage and our family and our leadership for well on 4 or 5 years now. And it has really changed the way we're present with each other and with our family. So when we had a chance to go down to Uruguay in November, we said, let's incorporate this out at San Geronimo, which now has 3 family units staying out there that live and work together. Many of them work in the city of Montevideo, but their lodging place is out at San Geronimo. So in addition to the retreats and camps that we host where we train people, there's a core of us that, not us specifically right now, but there's a core of our team that lives out there and says, hey, let's really try to understand this intentional community. Our heart, Stephanie and Nico's heart, is if we could see families that could come out for, maybe in the beginning a weekend, and then maybe a week, and then maybe a couple months, and then maybe somewhere about a year of intentional living in a space where they could pick up all sorts of healthy habits and practices for relating to each other and relating to an extended community that they can then take back into the city or take back to their country of origin and begin to apply those same rhythms of community and checking in there, that we can do great good in the world. And so we taught some of these skills. We taught the skill of check-in while we were down visiting last November. So if I fast forward about 9 months or so, I got on the phone with Stephanie just a little bit ago and checked in and said, hey, how are things going? And she told me this story of the fact that every day in the morning and every night at the closing of the night, they do a check-in. And we were trying to find the best word for it in Spanish, and they all decided that check-in was the best word. And as you're closing the day, they would just call it a check-out. And so they check in and check out every day. And, I thought, well, that's novel and that's great. I love it when people incorporate a skill that I teach. It makes me feel like we didn't do it in vain. But as I asked her, well, tell me about the impact. Is it just a thing that you're doing? And she said, no, it absolutely transforms the way we are able to be present with each other. It is hard to get together with a group of 6 or 7 people every single day and check in and not have a sense of what's really going on in one another's hearts. It has completely decreased the amount of conflicts that we have. It has increased our ability to be sensitive and understanding with what each other's going through. And it has given people a chance to kind of look at themselves over time. So when every single day I'm having to tell somebody, hey, here's the condition of my heart, here's the condition of my heart, and I do that for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I become more consistent as a person. I start to see myself more as God sees me. And she says you can always feel a shift in the room whenever we take the time to stop and check in. And every business meeting or every social meeting or event we're organizing all goes smoother because we actually take the time to do this and apply it and teach it and pass it on with people we're living with. So we're excited. We had a chance to go with Dr. Kent Smith from Abilene Christian University, and if things line up well again this year, we'll have a chance to return back there for annual board meetings, but also doing some ongoing training. We just wanted to pass on the story of my dear sister and wonderful collaborator, this powerful woman of God, Stephanie Crayer.